Okay, so my name is Victoria. We have met last time. Can you just introduce yourself and who you are?
My name is Erin Russ, and I am one of the two owners. My husband and I, Bill, own Nutmeg Café, and I am the chef operator.
Nice. So what inspired you to open Nutmeg Cafe?
It is something that my husband and I and my family, we have two children, had always talked about. And when we moved here from Connecticut, we noticed that there was really for such a large community, very few small cafes. And in New England, up and down the coast, there are small cafes everywhere. You don't have a bakery without an espresso machine, or espresso machine without a cafe or bakery. And so having both baked goods and lunch and breakfast all made from scratch really satisfied me as a chef, and someone who my earliest memory is my mother's kitchen.
Yeah.
So we decided to go ahead, and the kids were out of the coop, go ahead and do it.
Now, are any of your recipes inspired by like your mother's kitchen, or how did you come up with those recipes?
Oh, a lifetime of cooking.
Yeah.
My mother and I did enjoy, when I was a teenager, what we called cooking around the world.
Okay.
So for Saturday, we would pick a country and then make a variety of dishes from that country.
That's so
Perhaps torts from Germany, lots of foods from Germany, or we'd try scones from England. And so it's inspired mostly by my enjoyment of sampling things around the world with my mother.
Absolutely. That's something that my husband and I do for ourselves at home. Is each week on our dinner menu we'll have a rotating, like whether it's Indian night or it's Italian night or it's any sort of thing that's different than our norm. And I think it just brings excitement into it, and it allows you to kind of explore what other cultures have to offer versus just American culture. So I think that's great.
It's a fun way to travel around the world. A lot less expensive.
Yeah, a lot less expensive, absolutely. So we talked about the opening of Nutmeg and what inspired you. How did you come up with the name itself?
Well, I grew up in Connecticut, and we pretty much raised our children there for 16 years, and Connecticut is called the Nutmeg State.
Oh,
so
well, that's perfect then.
And we have had customers come in and say, "Who's from Connecticut?" So,
really?
Yeah.
So it's recognized then that people know that Connecticut's the Nutmeg State. That is so cool. I love how you brought like that piece of you to Ohio.
A little bit of home.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes it a lot more meaningful. Not that it already isn't, but it does bring a little bit more of like, okay, this is really a passion, like that you guys are doing this, and I think that's amazing. How has the local community shaped Nutmeg Cafe since its opening?
We have really met our goal of integrating with the local community. So we've had young couples come in through from just married through their first baby, and brought their newborn in to show us their newborn, or asked us to take pictures on their way to a baptism or christening. And people have come in and shared their joys and their sorrows with us. We have a very loyal, very large, loyal customer base, and it's been wonderful to get to know people and to offer people a space where they can sit with a friend and have coffee, and have a lunch. We have small groups come in, and it's a real pleasure to watch people have a space where they have a little time and place and quiet. We certainly get our share of people who come in by themselves and enjoy a book. We've had a lot of people say it's because it's a nice small cafe, they can come in and get a meal by themselves. It's not like walking into a large...
They don't feel overwhelmed.
It's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure to share in people's joys and sorrows.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was here filming content, just when I was filming Juliana making coffee, I mean, regulars came in, greeted by name. Like, it was just, comfortability level that I just feel like you don't get in other places. And I think I wrote in my blog post that stepping into Nutmeg feels like coming home. And I feel like that just encompasses everything that like you want. Like
that was
you want them
our
to
goal.
feel
that
at
people
home
come into
yeah.
our kitchen, into our home for Bill and I.
Yeah.
And that you have a lot of goals when you open and dreams when you open a restaurant, but I would say that's the number one that we met.
Yeah.
That it created a comfortable place for people, and we can enjoy them as much as they enjoy Nutmeg.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Okay, so moving on to your menu. What is your most popular item? And then if it's not your favorite, what is your favorite item on the menu?
The most popular item is hands down the breakfast sandwich.
That I tried last time.
Yeah. So we make
10 out of 10. Delicious. Delicious.
We make the English muffins here, and it's 2 eggs and sausage or bacon and cheese. And last year I sold just under 7,000 breakfast sandwiches.
Which you made yourself.
Which I made myself. That was a lot of English muffins,
Yeah.
a lot of rolling dough, which was fun to know that fact. And the second most popular are the quiches, which combined were a little over 4,000 quiches. So we sell individual quiches, broccoli or ham and cheddar, and
which I might be trying one of those today.
Please, I hope you enjoy them. So those are 2 most popular items. And what is my favorite? I don't know. I like it all, or it doesn't go on the menu.
It is definitely hard, especially when you're the chef and everything's from scratch. So it's like you can't help but like it all, you know?
And one of the really fun things about owning our own place is that I can make something that I feel like making that today. Okay, well I'm gonna bake something, or I'm gonna make a different soup. We did go ahead and get the I don't know how to put it, the highest tier of food license, so we can make anything we want, and that shows to the health department that you understand the care of food and cooling and heating and just basically keeping people safe, and it's been an absolute pleasure. It's worth every penny to just be able to come in and say, let's do a ham and potato soup today, or hey, I've been thinking about this recipe, I want to make chocolate babka.
Oh gosh.
And so we'll pop out babka.
Yeah.
And I am really fortunate to have a fabulous team. And my bakers enjoy coming to me and saying, hey, I can do an espresso brownie. Can I? Yes. What do you have up your sleeve that you can do? Let's give it a try and see how it does.
Yeah.
And my baristas, you mentioned Juliana, enjoy coming up with drinks. It's a real fun game every month to change them up. One year in November, we did No Shave November. And so all of our drinks were like the mustachio, the goatee.
That's amazing.
And we had the full beard. We had a lot of fun with that, and customers were taking pictures of the board because they were all laughing. And we like coming up with things.
Well, that's another thing that just differs from like franchise coffee shops versus local mom and pop coffee shops, where you have more freedom to be creative and actually enjoy what you're doing every day, and being able to kind of put your name on it. Even your baristas, when Juliana creates some things, like she now has a stake in Nutmeg Café.
Yes.
Like you give your employees
the space.
The space, to do what you hired them to do, and you trust them to do that. Which, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've just been so fortunate to have the right people come and interview with us, and the creativity, sometimes things are a team effort.
Yes.
Somebody will come up with an idea. No, it needs, as we go through the tasting, and those are my favorite days here at Nutmeg, when we're in the middle of a spontaneous creative process. The bacon apple melt started from a customer from Pennsylvania saying, oh, I like grilled cheese, but at home it's best with sliced apples. And I'm like, never heard of that. I'm from New England. We put apples on everything. Never did that. So after he left, we made one, and we're like, oh, let's put some bacon on there. Somebody else, let's put bacon, and then we ate that. no, need something else. And yet another person said big jam, and then we made it. It was going to be part of our fall menu, and this was late summer, and it went on that day. We're like, oh, that's fabulous, and it's our most popular panini now.
Wow,
but it
I
was
might have to try that. I may walk out with a whole goodie bag full of stuff.
So it's just, like I said, those are my favorite days. That spontaneous creativity and everybody's input.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's fun.
Just an entire environment, like good environment that you come in here and you can feel it. You really can.
Thank you.
So what challenges have you found as a business owner, a small business owner, and how have you overcome those?
There's a big list.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Especially with having to go through COVID and
COVID
coming
was a
out.
big one. We opened up in March of 2021. So just as things were starting to open up again, but there were still masks and 6 feet and so on. So we had fewer tables because we had to space the tables. And that was a challenge. And when the second wave of COVID came through that fall, this whole plaza was empty. I mean, the only people here were managers and all the different shops. We're standing outside talking to each other. It was unfortunate, but we got through it. That was, already opening in COVID and planning and knowing that we might have another bad spell, which we did. So we got through that. A lot of the issues for small business, and I think for any business, remain government regulations and tax issues. So the payroll tax remains an issue. I'm hopeful that Trump will stop the tax on tips, which will give all my employees a raise. And I think that would be fabulous.
Yeah.
And small petty things from recently the organization, the online organization that I use to manage my books, put out a beta version in January when everyone's putting their taxes together.
That's inconvenient.
It is. I had to go back and redo. My accountant called and said, "What are you doing on your books?" And I had to go back and redo my books because on my end it looked fine, and on their end it was basically gibberish.
Wow. And
so things like that consume your time. But the business end is also fun. I do enjoy that. It is sometimes hard to switch from the business side to the chef side. To go back and forth sometimes. But it is interesting to watch that and to see how much the environment in the state of Ohio and even the nation affects this industry. This is an emotional industry. So if
I've never heard emotional industry.
And people eat their emotions. And so if people are feeling really excited and happy, like there's a big event coming up. That's why the holidays are such a big event for restaurants. People are out and about and they're excited, and we have a lot of people coming in and having little parties and exchanging gifts and things like that. But when there's a lot of trouble in the world, people feel concerned, and that one's hard to predict. Will they come in because they were looking for comfort? And usually for us, that's the case. But if the economy is poor, if the price of gas goes up, I know that my business will go down.
Wow.
Because this is also, restaurants are disposable income.
Yeah.
And if people don't feel that they have disposable income,
then they won't
come in. Or I've had times where I'm much busier. My foot traffic is higher. I have more transactions, but the ticket numbers are lower. So because people are uncomfortable with spending a lot of cash. So our menu varies to accommodate what people are feeling or what they want. You can buy just a cup of coffee or just a pastry and still sit with your friends and have a nice time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the last time I was here, you mentioned how, was it the first week of January that kind of was it the week between Christmas and New Year's that kind of tells you how your year's going to be set up? And you said that you guys were busy.
We were very busy that week. So this was our 4th year that we've done that. And I have learned that in fact that week is a tell. And happily we were busy that week, and we have had a better January than we did last year, where that week was slow, unexpectedly slow, and that followed.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
we're excited about this coming year, and hopeful that we continue to grow. We've been fortunate to grow every year.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of leads me into my next question. Is on my last visit, you had mentioned that on different instances, you've had people approach you about expansion, and like, why don't you expand Nutmeg? Where do you want to go? So what is your reaction to that, and how do you deal with stuff like that?
It was, for my husband and I, it was never, to begin with, part of our goal to become a franchise or to operate multiple sites. In part because for me, quality is number one. And so I think it might be hard to do that. I've spoken with a number of other business people who said it's been very hard to manage quality throughout. But also, it's what the funniest part about that conversation is people talk around themselves and they say, oh, if you had a bigger place, if you expanded a little bit and added more tables, and they always come back around to saying, but then it wouldn't be Nutmeg. By the time we're done with the conversation, it wouldn't be Nutmeg. Can this business be expanded or open another location? Yes, I do think it could. But that is personally not a goal.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing here. I think the menu is repeatable. I think that it would be well received in other locations, but personally not a goal.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, you guys, what you have going on right now is great. So
thank you.
Why add to it?
It's a pleasure for us.
Exactly. So what is one thing, and this is my last question to kind of wrap it up, what is one thing that people might not know about you or Nutmeg? What is something that they may not expect coming in, or just something that's not advertised? Exactly.
I think people come in often for just coffee and are surprised we have food, or come in for food and are surprised that we have coffee. People view us sort of one way or the other and a little surprised. But I've had so many people come up and talk about the atmosphere and how wonderful my employees are. The nicest thing I ever heard from a customer was, I like to come here because every time I open the door, I hear laughter.
That's all you can ask for.
That's wonderful. Sometimes, things go south, and it's a restaurant. Things get burned. You get a whole bunch of people walking in. Things go south. Yeah. And here we just take it in stride, and keep each other laughing and get through whatever needs to be done, and just enjoy our customers.
And you guys do it. I mean, day in and day out. And again, reiterating what I said earlier, like, it just feels like you have a sense of relief when you step in the doors, and like being greeted by, whether it's Juliana or Brianna. There's another barista that I haven't met today that's behind the bar. They just smiles, and even if you walk in and you're having a bad day, you at least get a couple moments of reprieve from that.
Thank you. That is our goal. Just take a little break from the world. We're here, and just come in, warm up, and take a little break.
Yeah. All right. Well, that ends my questions. I appreciate you taking the time to not only let me film content the week before last, and then my interview this week. And thank you for being our local business spotlight.
Thank you so much for for having us on your spotlight, and we really appreciate that.
Awesome.